Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. Having been a school board director in the aftermath of Sandy Hook, I can tell you that I appreciate very much all of the best practices and toolkits and resources that all of your agencies put forward. We use them, and in light of a recent copycat incident at the school district where I served, in the aftermath of the Central York School District event, it was of great relief that those policies and procedures and the physical structural changes that were put in place in the school district worked. So it was truly a great relief. Deputy Secretary Stem, you said the world has changed, and the world has indeed changed, particularly with regard to social media and the different applications that our children are now using. With regard to the recent Central York School District incident that closed the school district for 3 days because of the threats, could you talk about how each of your different agencies were involved with that incident? Can you tell me what you learned, what the takeaway was for each of your agencies from that incident? And based on what you learned, do you have any recommendations to help our school districts address these types of issues or concerns going forward?
Sure. So I'll be brief so everyone can have an opportunity to weigh in on that. We would echo the way that Central York handled their closures and the threats that came into their district. We know Superintendent Snell and his entire team leveraged the appropriate communication strategies early on, did an excellent job of keeping parents and community members informed of what was happening. If I'm not mistaken, also did a debriefing afterwards with the community that really ensured that folks were calm. And so one of the, unfortunately, those incidents in Central York were repeated similarly throughout the Commonwealth, particularly in recent weeks, and we've seen it in recent years. So from those, we learn from, it reinforces our beliefs around the importance of communication, transparency, and engaging. I know they engaged first responders right away, made informed decisions, and in all things erred on the side of caution. So what it did underscore for us is to remind us to be sure that there are mechanisms by which schools can engage in the resources that the department provides. And as was mentioned before, our all hazards plans do talk about exactly what steps to walk through. And I can tell you that years ago, these used to be 3 or 4 page documents. Now they're 1-page checklists so that our administrators can quickly take that tool and check through and make sure that they've taken the appropriate steps. And we know they did that exceptionally well in Central York.
Ma'am, the Pennsylvania State Police did assist with that investigation in several forms. We had uniformed members at the schools while they were closed, and particularly upon the reopening, computer forensic examiners assisting. But the local police department handled that, did an exceptional job. It was truly a collaborative approach. My investigators working directly with FBI investigators and local police investigators from Spring-Itsbury Township and other municipalities. The communication was seamless between the agencies, and it ultimately culminated in successfully identifying the person that did it. As was pointed out by the committee, there were hundreds of incidents both before that, and they continue to this day. So what I have seen is I think others have taken the lead from what was done in Central York and other districts to try to address this ongoing threat. But it was a very good collaborative effort between everyone involved.
So in terms of PEMA's part of this, again, on the preparedness side, on the front side, the development of those all hazards plans that include vital information packets, that is the checklist as opposed to the 4- and 5-page plan, and the idea that you've already established those relationships through your training and then through your tabletop exercises with your community. You don't want to exchange business cards in the middle of a disaster, right? You want to have that all set ahead of time. So that is part of what we provide. We also have a 24/7 watch office. We're looking at a common operating picture about different incidents across the Commonwealth. There's reporting requirements by the 911 centers from across the state for certain incidents. Anything involving schools or school threats are part of that. So we collect that information. We share it in almost real time with PASIC and with the state police and with all of the other agencies, including education. So we're getting a look across the whole state of, is this a statewide issue? Is this a Central York issue? That's our part in this. And I would have to say, from everything we've seen, the response and the way that was handled was exactly the way that it should have been handled.
Our District Attorney, Dave Sunday, is holding a town hall meeting this evening at Central York High School, 6:30 p.m., to discuss social media, online safety, provide input and resources to parents. Are those things that are already covered by the work that all of you do, and have we incorporated those things into our best practices and the resources that we push out to school districts?
We have a number of those resources already available, but I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that that's an area that we can continue to populate resources and make them even more available to parents and community members, particularly online and in other ways. And so I think at the department, I know that our team is continuing to engage in looking at additional resources that we can provide. Just last week or the other day, we had a meeting with our 9 regional coordinators that we fund through our IUs that are our regional points of contact that are also helping us in those planning efforts. And we endeavor to continue to publish and share more resources, whether we create them or whether we simply link to those that are best practice, but just making them available in one place that districts and families can easily access.
Thank you very much.